Welcome to Miko's Adventures. All right, YouTube. Today, I'm just going to go over my experience with accommodations in Accra, Ghana. Now, I have been in Ghana for about almost 3 months. And during the 3-month time, I have stayed at 4 different places. It would have been nice if I could have just stayed at one place and, just chilled out and called it a day. But unfortunately, it didn't work out like that. I'm going to show you a few clips of the places that I did stay at, give you the prices, and also explained what happened at each location. Okay, this is not to bash any of the properties. It's just to bring awareness on what to expect when you come to Ghana. Stay tuned. This is the MJ Grand Hotel, where they put God first. Not second, third, or fourth, but first. Okay, you better know it. All right, so this is the MJ Grand. I think it was just basic accommodations, a basic room. The bed was okay. You see, it's just basic accommodations. The room was small. They did have AC. I don't remember lights ever being out at this location. They probably had great generators, but it was just basic. It wasn't updated. I did have AC problems a few times. They came and they fixed it. The Wi-Fi here was not good. But again, that may not be their problem because Wi-Fi general in Accra, it's not good. The service is not good. I was initially using and buying, I was just using my international data initially, and then I ended up having to get a SIM card. But this is MJ Grand. It was okay. Security was good. Location was good. But the price was definitely too much. This was my pad for 2 weeks in Accra, Ghana. Okay, so I really like this spot. This was considered a Denta. It wasn't too far from like Accra Mall, like the downtown kind of area. It was nice, it was quiet, and yeah, it was cool for me. So the house, as you can see, it was big, and I was the only one there. I didn't spend much time in the living room, and I did not spend no time in the kitchen. I didn't cook at all. Because the house was so big, in certain places, like each place you would sit in, you would have to turn on the air. And you see how, they have a high foyer here. It would kind of like, I would feel like I was like wasting energy to turn on the AC to kind of cool off each time I was in a specific room. So I mainly stayed in my room. However, security here was really good. He didn't have any water problems. Lights out went out a couple times, but it immediately came back on because he had generator. He kept his place spotless. So that's probably why I didn't want to use the kitchen either, because he had new appliances. Everything was new. New furniture, new appliances, new everything, new house. So I definitely liked that spot. However, it was expensive. I'm going to put how much it was because I need to recalculate. Give me a second. Okay, so after I spent a couple weeks at the previous place, I only moved because of the Wi-Fi problem. I needed something a bit more secure, and I also wanted to save some coins. Initially coming to Ghana, I was only supposed to stay 2 weeks. So now I'm at week 3. My first week at MJ Grand was paid for by my friend, but the first Airbnb I had to pay for. So that's $182 times 2. And me, when I'm in Africa, my budget, I only really be wanting to pay $100 a week. Like, seriously, no more than 140, 120, 140, because I still have bills to pay in the US of A's. So, and then I have a son in college. So when I go on long adventures, I have to be frugal with my coins. So this is the next location I went to, which was also in Adenta. I had some problems at this location. I'm gonna show you a few clips and explain what happened later. All right, YouTube. So this was the first room that I was in. As you can see, it's nice, but it's an old setup. This living area does not have AC. This is the kitchen. Again, there was no fan and or AC in here. I'm going to calculate the price of this unit for you so you know, and this is my view out, so that you know how much he was charging. We had problems with the refrigerator initially due to electricity going out, and this was the room. Now, this AC is very old. The problem was it wasn't kicking out enough air. When I initially told him that the AC wasn't blowing, we literally waited maybe 4 days for him to even repair it. And this is the bathroom. So like I said, it was pretty cool, but it was hot. Now for the price he was charging, that was a problem. So that's Derek talking to his crew. And I don't think he really treats them right, to be quite honest. But I'll talk about that later. All right, so this is another Airbnb that is in the same little compound at Derek's place. This one is a studio. It's downstairs, so this place is a bit cooler. This is the kitchen. So it's a little refrigerator, a little functional kitchen. This was all that I needed. Had a little microwave. Now this AC here works. Now this AC, actually at night I was cold. You have a fan here as well, and this AC heats up the whole studio versus the other room that I was in. Here is the bathroom. The bathroom is about the same size, it's just set up a bit differently. You have new appliances here. You have hot water. Here's the shower. I was concerned that the water would get everywhere, but it doesn't. I like this one better. However, I think the price, of course me, I'm a budgeter. The price is still high. But after I had the last complaint about the place upstairs, guess what? There was no more lights out. Yeah, so I had no lights out for the 3 weeks that I was here. maybe there's been no lights out for the last 5 days. So I got a good 5-6 days with no lights out. Yeah, actually, let's be fair. 7 days, 7 days. Because the first week at the first place, it was lights out every day. And I was in heat. So that was the other place I was at, up here upstairs. But it's a nice little compound. Pretty quiet, relaxing. That's why I chose the place. However, his customer service was not good. And that's all, folks. So I'm going to another spot. I really hate being on the continent and not being satisfied with things that I pay for. But hey, it is what it is. It doesn't surprise me because I've been doing this for some time. So here's Derek's place. Okay, YouTube, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, Derek's place. When I first met with him, he was trying to charge $900 a month. I was like, that's way too high. The place is basically on a dirt road, back up in the cut. You had to like walk some, not too long, but you had to like walk to get to the street. You know, just that. Other than that, the compound was beautiful. So that's what sold me. We negotiated $950 to roughly about $740 or $750 a month, which is still too high. But I was like, okay, it's smaller. The kitchen is there. I should be cool. Now, the first week we were there, I paid for 3 weeks, basically. I should have really only paid for 2. When I'm traveling, I only like to pay 1 week at a time because when you give people all your money, you don't get your service, okay? Now, the first week we were there, like literally the second day, we were so hot. That unit was upstairs, the first unit that I showed you. And it was so hot. We complained about it. Told them, come fix this air. You basically said that this AC would heat up the whole unit. It was not true. Blase, blase, blase. Took him 4 days for somebody to come. So we were hot. Okay. So that happened. The following week, I traveled to Kumasi, so I wasn't even there. So he was like, okay, well, that's good that you won't be here. I will be getting new doors or something and doing some painting. So basically, you're doing home improvement on my dime while I'm not there. So we were expected to be in Kumasi for 7 days. 7 days turned into 5 days because that's all I needed. You know, we came back early. When we came back, they opened up the gate. The little guy opened up the gate and he just started running, like sprinting. And I was like, what in the world is going on? So it was just like really, really weird. So we're coming in. Then all of a sudden, Derek is walking out and he's just like, oh, I thought you guys were going to be in Kumasi. You should have called me. And I'm like, why do I have to call you? I paid and I got the key. So no, I wanted to come back now. The reason why they were acting like that is because the so-called home improvement was not done. So that's why I showed you the clip of the second location, because we had to end up staying downstairs because they were still doing their little home improvement upstairs, which was fine because it was cool downstairs. However, we had to, that night, we were so tired, but we had to like move stuff from upstairs downstairs. So that had happened. Okay, so when we had a conversation, because we're moving from a bigger location to a smaller one, and I'm like, okay, so is the price going to be different? He was like, no. Even when we moved downstairs, that second day, literally all day in that room, I'm trying to work. The lights was out. There was no freaking AC. I was so hot. By that time, I had to complain. I complained because I just had to complain. So when we had the little talk, he basically was like, well, how much money did you pay so far? I was like, well, I paid for up to, let's say, it was like 3 weeks or something. And he was like, basically, after the 3 weeks, you can just go ahead and go. I was like, oh, okay, enough said. It was just he was weird. Like, his customer service was weird. The way he acted was weird. He reminded me of that guy, what's the name of that movie? The Heist. Remember the professor in The Heist? That's how he reminded me of this guy. Like, it was like things going on in his brain, and his eyes was like moving all around. It was kind of a bit scary. And another thing I didn't like is when we were upstairs in the unit, out of all of those places he could have stayed, his room was right next to ours. And he kept the door open. I almost felt like at a certain time he had put cameras up in there to see what was going on. Like, his whole vibe was so weird. So after I complained the second time, I got real mad. And, you know, usually I try to get resolution before I get mad. But it got to the point where I knew I couldn't deal with this guy because of how he was. He was throwing in other guests and saying, well, they didn't have a problem and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, we're talking about me. We're not talking about other guests. I don't really care what other guests had a problem with. When I first came here, you knew what was important to me. You said Wi-Fi, water, electricity for that AC. You failed on all levels. So after that, that's why I ended up leaving. I also didn't like how he treated his staff, okay? I'm big on how you treat other people. He didn't treat the staff good. However, I made sure that I treated the staff good. One of the workers, I would always tip him when he was opening and closing up the gate. He helped me bring groceries in. He was just very attentive. So I made sure I always tipped him. Now, here I did do a little bit more cooking. So when I would cook and I have leftovers, I would give it to him, blah, blah, blah. Then it got to a point where when the owner would leave, he would come and knock on the door and ask for water, like he needed something to drink and stuff like that. Then he started asking for money. And I'm like, yo, all the tips that I gave you, you don't do anything. You don't go out. You're on a compound the whole time. Where is the money? So one time he said he needed money because his mother was in the hospital. And I think he asked for 200 CDs. I had already gave him more than that in tips. In less than a week and a half's time. So at that point, I was just like, nah, I ain't giving him no more tips because obviously he think I'm a bank and he think that I got money just growing out of the trees and out of heavens, and I don't. But I was just giving him, little tips to show that I appreciate him. Because sometimes when you're not appreciated by your staff, the guests show that you appreciate it. Because by that time, I wasn't even talking to Derek. He couldn't say nothing else to me, and I'm on his compound. When I walked out, he knew to get up and walk away. Don't even say nothing to me. Don't even look my way. So he even told his staff not to be friendly with me no more. And he told us, I can't be friendly with you guys anymore because he told me and blah, blah, blah. But just know that you are not the only people that had a problem about that unit being too hot. And I was like, I know I didn't, because anybody coming from the U.S. of freaking A, and he claimed the last guest was from Alabama, okay, they wanted some AC. That's what I do know, because it's hot. So all to say, we left this place. I made sure I cleaned up good, and we was out. So now I'm going to have to show you the next location. Now I found this next location on it was something like a Facebook marketplace, but they call it Gigi. I think it's ran by the Asians, but here you find everything you need. So classifieds, clothes, different things like that. So now I'm about to show you this unit. All right, YouTube. So this is the apartment that I ended up renting. This is my third and final place. This is in East Lagoon. It's cheaper than the ones that I was at previously. Here is the living room. It is a large space, just basic little living room. Has AC, has a fan here. Lighting is good. Look at me, I'm on the wall. This is a half little bathroom. I don't even use this one, but it's basically just a sink here, toilet, something simple. And there's a little balcony here. Excuse the mop. I have to mop every day. This is the outside of the apartment here. Real quiet. I have water all the time. I think they use a burr hole and they have water tanks. There's the broom because I have to clean every day. This is the kitchen. Little stove. There's my gas. A little sink. It's basic, but it's for me. Little refrigerator. And then I'm gonna show you the room. A really big space. They could have did more with it. They didn't, but it's okay. I came over to East Lagoon because everything is here. So they have AC here too, as well as a fan. What I noticed in the daytime, this room stays pretty cool. And this is the other bathroom. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn on the light again. Okay. See, it's just basic. Toilet. You got hot and cold water. It is small. And this is the shower. So real basic. I think they could have put in better shower appliances, but like I said, it's good. I went the apartment route and I found this on Ghana Gigi, I believe it's called, something like that, and it was just cheaper. It was just cheaper because I was paying like so much. This apartment, the starting price for it, I think, was maybe like 5,000 Ghana cedis, and that is about 400 and something USD, which is better than what I was paying before. It was kind of like double. But yeah, that's the starting price for these, and I think it goes from like 5,000 to 8,000. You get the free water, but you do have to pay for your own electric. So just depending on how much money you're spending, that determines how much you're gonna spend. Let's see, they got the big tanks here. And it's really, really quiet. I like it. So this was my last spot now. There were lights out situation, okay? I ain't gonna lie. But I managed. I had more lights out here in Ghana than I do in Senegal on any given day. But I survived. But yeah, this is the place, guys. All right, YouTube, I hope you enjoyed. You know, I always keep it real. A lot of times in social media, people are going to give you the ooh and ah, but don't give you the real. But you know, on Miko's Adventures, I give you the real. So basically, I liked the last spot that I was at because, number one, the price was what it should have been. I've been even checking other like places in the East Lagoon area, and the highest quote someone quoted me was $1,800 a month. And the place was smaller than the place that I'm at right now. So me paying 460, yep, I'm good with that. The only thing that I just realized is management in a whole is not good in this country. Also, people pay their whole year's worth of rent, even sometimes 2 years, all up front. And on the back end, you don't get the service, but you don't ever get your money back after you pay for goods. You don't get your money back. So it's different. Like if they promise you Wi-Fi, water, and all that good stuff, and you give them all your money, honey, you may not get it. And they ain't giving you no refund. They'll tell you to get out if you don't like it. If you can't deal with it, get out. So I like this place. The only thing was management. And of course, promising things, just minor things, and not coming through. I also didn't like, there were people that was hanging out on the compound. I guess they're friends or whatever, or family. And they would always like be in the hallway. Every time I go to open up my door, like it was this guy always sitting there. And I thought he was like stealing my Wi-Fi or something, but it got to a point where I could hear his conversation. If you're standing right in front of my door or right in front of my window or sitting on the steps, obviously you are trying to get to my Wi-Fi. And the manager was basically lying, talking about, oh no, it can't be him, blah, blah, blah. And I found out that this guy is a part of their little clique or whatever. So he did know that Wi-Fi code. So all to say, I turned off the Wi-Fi. Yes, I did. And I just started using the Wi-Fi on my SIM card. And I basically told the guy, after I told the manager, I told the guy, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Every time I open up my door, I see you. So other than that, everything else was good, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed everything. Until next time, peace.